Hello, Stefan, Mr. Raw. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been looking forward to this.
Welcome to the Your Turn podcast. And we have a lot of ambitions with this podcast. We really want to dig deep into not only who you are, but how you are, what systems you use, and the learnings that you had in your career and in talking to all the companies that you work for. So maybe briefly introduce yourself to the audience.
Alrighty. I've been practicing a lot, so this can be finally done in short. When I began, it took me an hour to explain because literally I've experienced so much in my life, so I don't know where to start or where to begin or where to end because I'm 44 years old. I have 3 lovely kids. One of them is already an adult. Well, that's what happens when you grow old. And what I've been doing my entire life, I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've had a lot of startups, and myself, I've had 10 startups, to give the brief, whereas I raised 2.5 million euros with those startups and exited companies worth, I think, 16, 17 million euros. And I had the chance to have a so-called unicorn within my reach in my hands as a CEO and a co-founder of a company. And I tried to change a whole industry. And then I goddamn tried to go bankrupt like hell.
So that's also a skill, huh?
I wouldn't call it a skill, but I would say it's necessary to experience if you want to experience where the borders of life in reality is.
Yeah.
And 10 years ago, I had that big company. And when I failed with that, then my mother died, and I went into a deep depression. That's what happens when first somebody hits you in the face, so you fall down and try to stand up again, and then the other one comes and knocks you completely down. And,
yeah, true.
Being an entrepreneur, I have a lot of energy. So I was sitting in my depression. What the fuck is going on? I don't want to be in this. How do I get out of it? So I started watching a lot of TED TV, reading books, and all this. But one little point that changed the whole lot was this Indian shaman who said that what makes you most happy is by helping others. And I thought, okay, fine. I'm going to help a lot of startups then, because already then was, I had a lot of startups already. And what my journey usually, when I look back on my life, is what I see is I've always created traction. I always created a success up until a certain point. And that certain point is when things go into operation, you don't want me to continue that journey.
Okay.
But up until that part, I've always, whether it has been a crap product or it has been a beautiful product or service or whatever it was, I've always created a success. So I thought, that's how it is to be an entrepreneur. You always create success. And I went to starting to talk to all these founders, and soon I realized there's something wrong with this.
Before we go deeper into this, Stefan, before we go into this, so this is the learning. Many people don't have that learning, right? And on multiple levels. So you started something new, no? You are the startup guy. You're a Mr. Raw. Does it mean that you will take on your business now differently? In other words, as soon as it's more into operations, will you have a different CEO while you stay into evangelization?
Yeah. So the recent project I have is called Raw Research, which is actually based on all the findings I had with all the startups, and then I found a very systematic error in the world, which is people don't know why their customers are buying from them. They literally don't know. So I created a qualitative customer survey. Actually, we call it a gap analysis because we also interview the employees, and you literally never find, or only 1 out of 25 instances you find that the employees agree with their clients on why they buy from them. For some reason,
Crazy.
those companies are also the most successful companies, and of course it is, because when you're selling something to somebody who actually wants to buy what you are selling, and vice versa, then you have more transactions. But I built it up. We last year we created 300,000 euros in revenues. We started to expand a little, but I was bootstrapped, and that's pretty hard, especially when you're a little older and you have kids and shit to support. We built the traction. We have over 100. We call them reality checks. That's the analysis that we do. And I just recently, that's 2 months ago, incorporated the company in the UK alongside a fantastic CEO who is going to operationalize the whole company, because I can't operationalize operations. And me just don't fit. I'm one of the weird guys that I'm not capable of doing the same again and again and again and again. I just can't. It's too hard for me. I know it sounds weird, but usually other people, it's too hard for them to do something new. So that's been my superpower.
But the thing is also that even before, when people were investing in startups, one of the things they initially tried to do was getting the CEO out, because that was a startup founder or a tech, and then they tried to put in an operational person. So in the end, I'm going to say that viewpoint is not correct either, because you have a load of successful startup founders that stayed also when the company was was worth billions. At the same time, you also have many people that are idea generators, creators, and they're less active as an operational person. So nothing wrong with this.
No, absolutely not. And now I'm just very aware of the situation and will avoid it at any cost, because I will waste my time and I will not help anybody in that that situation.
But even and even as a startup company, you said you were bootstrapped, 300K revenue. Was it that the first year that you were working as with Raw? So 300K the first year. How did you do it? I mean, many startups, they never get above the 100K. So in 1 year, 300K with a very specific product. Maybe you can break down the steps. How do you start with this?
It's pretty easy. You pick up your phone.
Yes.
And you start calling. Because what many organizations and startups, for that matter as well, tend to do is some big mistakes. And the biggest mistake is thinking, especially when you're a startup starting to go for sales, it's not sales that you want, because you don't have your product market fit yet. You want sales when you have the product market fit, when you understand the product market fit, when you understand the pains, when you know, okay, if I hire 10 salespeople now, then we will get 10 times more sales, and if we blah blah, and so on and so on and so forth. But in order to get to that step, you need to do business development. And to me, and that's the only reason I believe actually why I've had success, there's only one way to do it, and that is to talk to clients. Actually, the whole concept started with, I had a telemarketing guy. He started calling 200 companies. We called 200 companies, or we had 200 conversations, so we called several more companies. But we had 200 conversations with companies where we literally just asked, if you have a commercial challenge, what would that be? What could I sell to you? And during that period of time, whilst I have helped hundreds of founders getting somewhere with their startup, or in many times also getting nowhere, realizing that this is stupid. I should be doing something else as well. Because these days, everybody wants to be a startup founder, but people don't realize that it fucking hurts.
Yeah,
it's hard work. It's hard work all the time, but I love it. I love the hard work. I love the lifestyle, but many people can't cope with so many ups and downs coming all the way through. It's very, very hard. And I guess what is most hard is to restart yourself, to reboot yourself, because every time you move along your journey, the challenges, they change. And the persona, in order to achieve those challenges, they're different. So you need to reboot yourself on the journey as well. And mostly sometimes anyway for me, but also others, of course, you reboot yourself onto something you don't want to do. But if you don't do that, then the company won't evolve.
And before this, you need to talk to the people. So and that's also things. And you were talking about that many people don't do this. And why is this?
There are many reasons. I think the funny reason is when you study business at university, the marketing Bible is called Marketing Management, written by a guy, American professor called Philip Kotler. Mm-hmm. And it's a fucking break. And in the preface of the book, he writes that the most important thing is to talk to your clients. Mm-hmm. And the next 1,200 pages, he talks about everything else. So I think one of the big errors are people didn't read the preface or took it to them. All right, that's important. That's important. But the point is, the reason why you don't want to talk to people, because you don't want to get a no. You don't want to get told that you're wrong, that you're bad, you're creating something crappy for me, I'm wasting my time, and all these things that people are telling you, because we've all been kids, and we've all been told that you're not allowed to do that. And then we get sad, of course. But in reality, if you don't understand why people don't want to buy from you, how will you find out why people would like to buy from you?
Yeah, exactly. And then when you explain this, when you explain this to your clients or your prospective clients, how do you handle resistance? Because I'm sure that people or they're in a certain mindset. How do you work them through this conversation?
I tell them in a very serious manner that if they don't do it, they're going to waste their time. Because reality is, for all, and this goes for all, maybe there's one or two or three, but for all startups, they always pivot at some time. They always pivot into something else, something better. And what is that better thing? Well, that's, of course, your product market fit. That's where you get the pain and the solution to match. And reality is, if you don't speak to clients, you'll find out in 1 year or in 2 years. But if you speak to clients, you'll find out in 2 to 3 months. Yeah. So the question is for you, of course, you want to waste your time or you want to get working? A couple of hours ago, I had a session with a SaaS company in the UK, and they already got some traction. They got 12 clients, I think they got. And then I asked them, "Did you talk to them?" No. It was like, no. Now we are thinking about it, the pricing schedule and stuff like that. And I'm like, hold on. This has nothing to do with price right now. What you need to do, especially when you're a SaaS company, in my mind, is the first task is to get 40 clients. That's it. No matter the cost, no matter whether you have to stand on the streets begging for whatever that needs to be done, you want 40 clients because you want to experience 40 journeys with your company. Because if you have experienced those 40 journeys, you know where you fuck up and you know where you excel, you know where to improve, and you know literally everything because you understand the why. That, by the way, Simon Sinek and all the others are talking about. But the why will only be answered by your customers. Because that's what people don't realize. A company, the only reason why a company exists is because they have customers. If they don't have customers, you don't have any revenue. You don't have any company. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, true. And it's the cheapest money as well. Then you can remain bootstrapped for a longer while rather than going for funding without having any customers because you don't have anything tested yet, right? So, yeah, definitely.
And another thing also, when you go for funding, by the way, with SaaS companies, if you fixed yourself on a price and you already gained some clients, then the math is pretty easy to find out what the value of the company is. Mm-hmm. So you're actually cutting off the opportunity for your startup, for the investors to go and invest in, but you only have this in revenue, meaning you're only worth 1 million or 10 million if you go out to the entire market. So no, thank you very much. I'm looking for a unicorn.
Yeah, good one. True. And then when you go back to that 1 in 25 that knows what their customers want, do you have any data as in your customers, how they were before you started working them, and then how they are after they started working them? Do you see any gain in momentum for the people that followed 100% of the feedback of the customers? How do you make?
Yeah, that's actually one of my challenges because what happens when you get a reality check? We ask customers and then we ask employees 3 questions. The first question is, why did you buy from us?
Yeah.
And pretty straightforward, they will tell you why they bought from you. The second question is the Net Promoter Score on a scale from 0 to 10. How likely are you to recommend us to another client or colleague? And the third question is, how can we improve?
Yeah.
And when you think of it, when you take it inside, you literally don't need any more information for your company to understand what the hell you're doing and why you're doing it. Because you're doing it because of the customers, because of the employees. And the point is, when everybody around the table understands and agree why we're actually having a company with customers, then I tend to say then magic happens, because then everybody knows where to run, where we're running from and where we're running to. So everybody's running the same path instead of, I'm going there, I'm going there, I'm going there. Well, where the fuck are you going?
Yeah. It's very important yeah.
Yeah, so what happens is when you have a market-driven value proposition, meaning a value proposition built on the basis of what your market believes and thinks about you, then you get concise and precise in regards to what you are offering, because now you can use those words your customers are using. And you can both do it in your sales and you can both do it in your marketing. So the marketing improves because you communicate much better. And the sales conversion rate goes up because you're actually starting to talk to clients about what they want to talk about. Because that's why they want to buy from you.
And to the right customers. And to the right clients as well, because across those 40, you will probably see patterns emerging. Yeah.
Exactly. You find, oh my God, these guys are so annoying. Okay, let's not focus there any longer. The reality check, we learned that our sweet spot is 10 to 200 employees, and you need to be a B2B company. Because this is where you want to really start growing in a proper manner going forward. But you don't know why. But you don't know because you didn't ask your clients. So I thought it was these two. You will improve your conversion rate and all this. But what most of our clients come back with, because we do our own reality check, and that's the fun part. I invented the reality check, and I was wrong as well. I wasn't one of the 1 out of 25. I was one of the 24 idiots. Because the reason why they want to buy is because they want to be able to make better decisions for their company. Because they realize there's a void we're not looking at. There's a dark matter. And that dark matter is the essence of the company.
Yeah, and it's splendid. And even that also shows, right? So any founder, just as yourself, you're so close to our own business. We are being blind for the advice we give others or even our own assumptions. So how did you shift then your approach to your customers when you realized you were wrong?
Well, you changed the communication, literally. And now we start asking you, would you like to make better decisions for a company?
Yeah.
Now, who don't want to do that?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very simple in the end again, right?
Yeah. And there's so many examples. It can be a small nudge that does the whole trick. One of the first clients we got in raw research is a robot company called Tiny Mobile Robots. They created a robot that marks up football fields, the white marking. And I asked the founder and the CEO, so why do your clients buy from you? Well, it's because we are giving them a time-saving robot, because it's very time-saving. When you do it manually, it takes 5-6 hours to do it.
Yeah.
But if you use a robot, you press a button, and 20 minutes later you're done. So it is time-saving. But the reason why the clients were buying from them, because then we called the clients afterwards and asked them, why did you buy from us? They said, well, it's because we bought a lightweight robot. A lightweight, it was the weight of the robot that mattered. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? It's a lightweight robot. Mm-hmm. Well, the competition in the market, there are other robots in the market, but the closest competitor weighs 70 kilos. Whereas tiny mobile robots weighs 25 kilos. And the point is, if you only spend 20 minutes on one football field, you of course want to go to the next football field. Oh, yeah. And the difference lies within that when it's 70 kilos, you need 2 people to carry it up into the car, drive to the next field, take it down. But if it's only 25 kilos, you only need one.
Yeah, brilliant.
And the beauty of it lies within their name. Tiny mobile robots.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you're a founder. You continue developing yourself because you want to do a better product, you want to have more traction and all this and this. So the guy who's mostly apart from reality is the founder, is the CEO. He doesn't know.
Yeah, it's scary to think about. And you're right, there's so many companies. So I think the world is wide open for you and raw research. How do you build your market? How do you build your brand? How do you find customers, except for calling? But how do you go about this?
Well, this is how I see you build revenue in a company. First, you have business development, where you talk to the clients, finding out where the pains are and all that. And then you add marketing to that mix. And when that marketing is capable of bringing in clients that are willing to buy, then you can initiate the sales department. And where we're at Raw Research now is it's not funded, so we're still bootstrapped. So right now we're in the UK searching for an angel investor who could put hopefully £200,000 in it. That's 300,000 euros. in order for us to ramp up and speed up, because we what do you call it? The marketing that we do works. We know why, but we don't have the money. So it's like playing in the football field without having feet. It's pretty annoying.
But you can have the tiny robot to make a smaller football field.
Yeah. Very, very small football field. So that's where we're at with this company now. So I'm out speaking to a lot of nice people and some not so nice people, and I did that journey before, but this time it's amazing because I didn't invent a thing. I listened to I did the complete opposite thing of what people usually do. I found out what the pain in reality is for most companies, because I thought, okay, now I changed the shipping industry, the unicorn I had, the way it works. So I thought, okay, I have to do something really big this time. I thought, okay, it has to be, I'm a startup guy, it has to be something with business development. And if you are creating a service or a product for business development, then you should create that product that you can sell to most people to the highest possible price for the longest period of time. Because that's the goal for any business development, is to sell as much to as many as possible for the longest period of time, because then you make most money. So that was my task. Instead of saying, hey, I want to make a qualitative survey, that's not a SaaS company. I built 5 SaaS companies throughout my life, so I know this is something different. It's a service and tech company, which is actually the reason why we closed down in Denmark and opened up in the UK, because in Denmark, investors only invest in tech companies, whereas there are a lot of angels out of London that became rich because they had an agency, they had a service company.
Okay, interesting. And what are your next steps? So you want to scale. So basically, you want to start up. You're looking for funding. So how do you see Raw in the future, the coming 2-3 years? Let's not go too far.
I think we will literally be global in 3 years, having local branches everywhere in the world. Because I want to build it out as a franchise. I built the tech in order to support the process, so you can retrieve the information, the data from the market and the employees, and deliver the results in a manner to everyone, so they actually understand what the data is giving you. So I created, or invented, if you may, a way to quantify the qualitative feedback from the clients, and that's our secret sauce, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's extremely powerful, especially, and I was speaking about my ideas and my tech. I have my perception about the pains that I see, that I perceive, and then based around this, and you have an idea, and even with the feedback you get confirmation of your idea. And some people probably say, oh yes, it's a great idea, just because they know you. But then actually when reality hits you and you talk to those customers, the why they bought from you, the use cases that you start building up, that they're completely different. And then let's talk about...
No, because there's an important part here for startup founders, because a lot of them knows that they need to do some market research in the beginning to find the product market fit, all that crap. So what they do is they call up, even if they do cold calling to prospects they never talked to before. They're saying, hello, my name is Stefan, I call from Raw Research. We are a startup and hoping I can spend 5 minutes with you. I have some questions. And many people say, yeah, of course I'll help a startup for 5 minutes, no problem. And then they ask, and the thing is, people are starting to please them, instead of telling the reality, because there's only one time in life you get the truth, and that's when you sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I sell to you and I ask you, you want to buy this? If you say no, you don't want to buy it, do you? If you say yes, you want to buy it. So, and these are the two personas you want to talk to. You don't want to talk to the one who may or may not want to buy from you. You want to talk to those who want to buy from you and those who don't want to buy from you. And you want to find out why they want to buy from you and why they don't want to buy from you. Because when you know that, you know what you're having in your hands.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you're a startup founder and you want to do your market research, what you do is you start selling. Because this is where reality kicks in. And yes, it's hurtful because it's your little baby and it's so sad. But nobody's perfect. And the sooner you perfect your product or service, the faster you track yourself towards a big success.
And let's say one of your customers, they after 2-3 months, they come to the realization that they were on the wrong track, like those 24 or 25 companies, and they have to pivot or at least adjust.
Yep.
Do you have an idea how this works, and do you help with this?
I don't work with that part. I did it in the beginning, but that is consultancy work. And I don't like to build a consultancy that are dependent on people or people's brain capacity. I want to build something that is scalable. And everybody who likes to talk to other people can conduct a survey because you just ask them, why did you buy? And if you say it's because of the people, then you ask, okay, what is it in the people category that makes it so fantastic? And so you dig down to get the juice out of the interview, and literally anyone can do that. The question is just how you do it, and we have a full described process onto doing that, and what I've been spending my time on is doing all the proof of revenue, proof of revenue coming back, proof of subscription, proof of all these things, proof of product, hallelujah, proof of all the bullshit. We've now had customers on 4 different continents, and next month we are attacking the 5th continent, which is Africa. We have a new client in South Africa, which is pretty exciting because not many have created something that is sold or delivered on so many continents. I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you really go fast. If you look at it. So it's brilliant to see that it really goes so fast and so well for you. And you have everything in mind. And I'm sure what you do is talking to the customers. So that's brilliant to hear. So we are slowly but surely coming to the end of the podcast, and I have so much more questions. But for the sake of time, so let me start by asking the 3 questions I ask everybody. So, if you look now, what do you wish you had done differently in your career?
Now I've been a serial entrepreneur for 25 years, with all the ups and downs. What I believe I should have had was a better network. And by network, I mean a mentor. If I was a young stud, knowing what I know now, the prime thing I would go after is to find the right mentors to work with, because we are all stupid. We are all so stupid because we are just focused on what we think. And if we don't get the reflection part of life, we don't get to evolve in the same pace. And especially when you're a founder, which is the hard part, you many times need to make big decisions for other people as well. Fire them, hire them, tell them off, embrace them, all these things. And when you're juvenile and don't know how to lead, you need help, and I didn't get that help, although I did succeed, but I also failed several times as well. So I would definitely have a mentor.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant one. Same here. And a couple of years ago, I had a workshop with the 10 CEOs in Belgium, and I asked them, okay, who here has a coach? Nobody had a coach. And I have multiple coaches for different segments in my career and in my development. And I look in top sports, they only work with coaches for in tennis to improve the serve or you name it. They do it while having a startup, having a company. It is also top sports. It's very high demanding, and you need leaders / mentors / coaches to guide you, to help you.
But
Yeah,
not many do,
brilliant one.
especially
Brilliant
when
one.
you're young, by the way, because you think you are the cleverest guy in the world.
Yeah, true. It's a brilliant one. True. And maybe connected to this, the second question. So, is there a book or a podcast that's helped you gaining knowledge to make your decision better or to help you grow?
One book, I think, the mother of all books for startup guys is Crossing the Chasm, which is an old book. I think it's 20 years old or something. But it's the understanding of how you evolve as a company and how markets are built and stuff like that, and it gives you a fundamental understanding of what companies are and how you evolve from there. And the most well-known part is, of course, early adopters and first movers and all these, where you get to cross the chasm at some point, where you get to the entire market. Why it's important is because people are talking about a lot about conversion rates, and when you say a first mover is maximum 5% of the total market, and that just means then the conversion rate really doesn't matter at this point. At the beginning, you need to find those first movers. You don't know where they are, but you need to find them, because they are the gasoline for you to propel yourself further on your journey. So if you don't find those first movers, forget it.
Yeah, and that's also very important in how you find them. It doesn't matter whether it is through LinkedIn. You have many people that are growth hackers on LinkedIn, and just posting messages is gonna work. However, the hard cold calling is also part of finding them and to getting those there. Absolutely,
it's the fastest way of finding them, literally, because not all first movers. Just because I see an ad or some influential prick is writing something clever here and there, doesn't mean that I get activated. But if I call you and you actually like new stuff, you like trying new stuff and all this, then I have you. Then I have your attention. And when I have your attention, because that's the point, 95 of the others will say no, because that's how it is. They're not first movers. So now you have the 5%. Not all 5% will say yes. That's like crazy thinking that 5% will say yes, because they won't. Many of them will still say no, because you fail to pitch correctly, you fail with your value propositions and all this. So this is here you find out why and why not, which is, by the way, adaptable to the rest of the market. But the sooner you find out, the faster you can, you can speed up your journey. So all the others trying to fetch all the first movers on LinkedIn, good luck. It will take you a lot of time.
Yeah, true. And if your market is 100,000 companies, 5% is still 5,000 companies. So your goal is just to find 40, as you said, of those first 5,000 customers, and then to have a base, and then start growing faster.
Because you will adjust anyway. So you might as well have the first target as, okay, 40 clients, and then let's stop up, reboot, improve, yalla.
Yeah, and just talk to customers, right?
That's all.
Yeah, and if you can summarize, and actually this is the third question is the summarize of the whole conversation. When is it time to pivot, and what can you advise to the audience?
40 clients.
Exactly.
No, because 40 clients is enough, and it's not a lot. And when it's only 40 clients, then it's also a very exclusive club in the end, because if you wrap it up in a serious manner and say, okay, guys, now we're doing this, let's get 40. Then you will at some point reach over 40, but then you need to start prioritizing, and then the product market fit is already happening. It's like putting a turbo in a car.
And I actually think so. So many companies aim to go as wide as possible, as fast as possible. But I 100% also believe in a controlled rollout, that you go phase by phase and to constantly have either feedback, but at the same time, you just said it, to have the bandwidth to service those clients good enough, and then to decide where you go on from here on. Definitely. Cool, brilliant. Stefan / Mr. Raw, are there other things you want to add to the podcast?
I could add so much, but we don't have the time. Don't be afraid. That's I think that's the most important thing. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Your product will never work. You will always fail. And that's reality. You will always fail. So you might as well fail as much as you can, as fast as you can, because that's also the best way to become more clever. And it doesn't even go with startups, only with startups. It goes for everything in life. Do stuff instead of not doing them.
Yeah, true. And with this, the baseline is set. Talking to customers, not to pleasers, but talking to your customers and potential customers is absolutely crucial. Thank you so much, Stefan. I wish you all the luck with the Raw. Well, you don't need luck. You have the vision, you have the execution. So you have already a big part set there. I will follow your journey. I'm really interested in it, and I'm sure the audience learned a lot from you as well today. Thank you so much.
Take care, guys.